What's up YouTube? This is PN Collector here, getting ready to start the new format now. I'm just bringing to the new deck of the month for the format. I'm going to be going over Koa'ki-Merus. Everyone else is pretty much doing like Black Wings or Gladiator Beasts, so I wanted to try something out a little bit different and just kind of see with all the new support what the deck will do. So I'll start off by showing you the monsters first. 2, Koa'ki-Meru Maximus. It's pretty much the boss monster of the deck, and you have to remove an Iron Core to special summon it from your hand to the field, and once per turn you can pop a card. The only drawback about him, though, is that you do have to discard any Koa'ki-Meru card or an Iron Core to keep it on the board. Now, pretty much all boss monsters should be related to this card, because unlike any of the Gladiator Heraclinos or even Dad JD, they require hardly anything of a cost. This is pretty much how a boss monster should be designed, so that way the game isn't as broken as it normally is. And it's a really good card too. It's more or less a finisher than anything else though. Alright, that. And then iTech 1, Koa'ki-Meru Rooklord. Now, in my opinion, he's overlooked a lot because the fact is that you need to destroy cards, especially the cards that they can't really get rid of. So it's a single one sack for a Koa'ki-Meru monster. So if you have any Koa'ki-Meru on the field, just say like a Maximus, you can pop their card, sacrifice the Maximus, drop Rooklord, pop 2 cards. Now that really helps too to get rid of any threats or multiple things on the board that you just can't get rid of. And I only use one of them, even though I don't have any warriors. Next up is 3, Koa'ki-Meru Crusaders. Now, in my opinion, Crusader is what really helps the deck not minus itself in terms of in the end phase. He's a Beast Warrior, so that goes in cooperation with another monster that I'll be showing you right now. And he can pretty much get either the Iron Core or any Koa'ki-Meru monster in your graveyard back by just destroying a monster. And now the good thing about it too is that you don't actually he doesn't actually have to be on the board. Unlike Shura, he's like kind of like the Blue Thunder T45 of the deck. If you kill something, he still gets a monster back, and that really helps, even if the Iron Core, if you have it in your graveyard. So it sets up really strong plays, especially to keep himself on the board. And that's why I run 3 of them. Next up, the heart of the deck, 3, Koa'ki-Meru Ur Knights. He's pretty much what helps this deck speed into all its other strategies. All you have to do is just reveal an Iron Core of Koa'ki-Meru from your hand, and you can special summon any level 4 or less Koa'ki-Meru monster. Now that's great because it helps for pushes, it helps to bring out other Koa'ki-Merus that you need at this current time, and it kind of introduces a decision into the deck, a little bit of a search engine, and that's really what they need, especially to have more monsters on the board. And he's a Beast Warrior, so he goes really well with Crusader. So you can reveal Crusader to reveal him to keep him alive on the board, or if you drop a Crusader, when you reveal the Iron Core, you can search out more monsters and help get the pluses that they need instead of minusing themselves. Next up is 2, Koa'ki-Meru Boulders. I only run 2 because you do need them to help search out your deck to get cards like Ur Knight or even Iron Core if you do need them. The faster you can get to your cards and better plays that you can get out of those bad hands and work with them. I only run 2 of them because I tried 3 and I didn't really like it, but at 2 it seems to be okay. Next up is 2, Koa'ki-Meru Guardians. The ability to stop any effect monsters has always been good. And with him, even if they drop a Gores or a Kalutes or any kind of monster effects that become a threat, he's usually that kind of extra kicker just in case you do need him. Now, I don't run that many rocks as other decks do. I just run the 2 Boulders and the 2 Guardians, and that's it. Only because I don't rely on them as heavily as much as other people do. But it is still a good card either way, and I've only preferred to like 2, not 3 of them. Next up, 2 Koa'ki-Meru Dragos. I used to run 3, but I didn't really like them as much, especially since I needed to rely either on a Dragon or the Iron Core. But they are really good cards to set up, especially with Ur Knight, because you can reveal Iron Core, bring out Drago, and if you feel that they have a Gores or a Battle Fodder or even Treg, you can just bring this creature out and it pretty much stops all that. And especially for all those people that play Dad still, it pretty much gets rid of any of those threats. Really won't see Lightsworn as much with it, but you never know though, so it really does help pop out a lot of those threats. I only play 1 of this, Koa'ki-Meru Tornado. He's really ignored because a lot of people don't like the fact that you have to put a card on top of your deck, but he's able to destroy all of your opponent's special summon monsters. Now it's better than the Koa'ki-Meru Ice because you have to discard a card and you have to reveal a continuous spell. He's one of the few Koa'ki-Meru monsters where you don't have to reveal anything. And that's always a good thing. That's a monster that can at least kind of stay on the board. And this is my tech for it, and it's really helped a lot, is Summoner Monk. He's actually one of the very few cards that I've seen that needs to be in this deck to help speed up the whole entire idea. Ditch any spell card, you drop Ur Knight. If you have the Iron Core, reveal the Iron Core, drop another monster. And not to mention too, a lot of people ignore the fact that Boulder is a level 4, so you can search it out with Urnite and bring it out in defense mode and that, and you can still search out a card later if they kill it. So Monk pretty much helps speed along that idea. Now, the TCG card that we made, Iron Core Transport, we needed this card basically to help get the Iron Core. The deck is literally dead without having an Iron Core, whether in your hand or even close within a few turns. And this basically just discard a card and search your deck for an Iron Core, and that really helps each turn because it allows you to further search through your deck, but also help to have the core so you can use all your creatures' effects. And of course, with the heart of it, 3 Iron Core Quackimeros. Now, a lot of people wondered if you can add all of them into your hand. Say if you have 3 in your graveyard, and if you skip your draw phase, you can't actually do that. It only allows 1 at a time, because you've already fulfilled the condition of adding 1 to your hand and not able to draw. But this is pretty much the heart of the deck, and without this, nothing can really go off. My techs are Iron Core Specimen Labs. A lot of people ignore this card for the reason that it requires too much. In order to keep it on the board, you have to reveal an Iron Core at your end phase. Now that's fine because it's the effect that mainly helps you. If you have a Quackimero that doesn't exactly work for you at the moment, when you end your turn, if that Quackimero monster dies when it's still face up, you'll get to search your deck for any Quackimero monster. And that helps a lot because it can help you search into your Urnites, especially if you have the Iron Core, which you'll have to reveal for it, and helps you get further and further into your deck. 2 core transports. Sometimes you do have dead cards. It's almost like a Deidre, but not really. It requires a lot, though. You have to show the Iron Core plus discard a Quackimero monster. So it's not exactly amazing. I've tried 3. I personally think 2 is okay, but it's alright, though. 2 Burden of the Mighties. The highest monster normally that you can summon without a sacrifice is 2,000. So playing Burden does help, especially higher level synchros and monsters you just can't get rid of. So it kind of helps, especially with Crusader, to get over monsters and threats. Heavy Storm, stable, Mystical Space Typhoon, and for this deck, Giant Trunade, because they need to push as much as they can without as many spell and traps in their way. Mirror Force, stable, Torrential, and Call of the Haunted. Pretty much doesn't need any explanation for that. For this deck, I use 2 Compulsory Evacuation Device. Reason being is because it's an anti-synchro card. It gets away cards that are face down or potentially a threat for them, and gets pretty much further and further into the push that I need to go for game. And then the final card that I run is just a single copy of it, is the Iron Core Luster. I like the fact that it's a bribe if you have an Iron Core in your hand. And that instantly helps a lot too, because that's the only real cost to it. So if anyone tries to drop a heavy or anything, or Lightning Vortex at a certain time, this actually will help push for further game than other cards would. Some noteworthy ideas with the deck too, which a lot of people kind of ignore about it, is especially when you have Iron Core with your Urnite, is that what I like to do is summon Urnite, reveal the Iron Core, and search out a monster, especially if I don't have any of the Beast Warriors to reveal for them. I'll search out a Quackimero Crusader. Then, as he's on the board, I'll play the field spell, the Specimen Lab. So when I end my turn, I reveal the Iron Core to keep this on the board. Then I'll let Crusader die by its effect, and not reveal the Iron Core, discard it or anything. And the lab will trigger, and I get to search my deck for another copy of Crusader, or even another Urnite from my deck to my hand. So now Urnite is able to reveal a Beast Warrior so he can stay on the board and set up for bigger plays again with another Iron Core. So pretty much the Specimen Lab acts as the Rhoda for the deck. And you don't actually just have to get level 4 monsters, you can actually get Maximus or Rooklord, and that's really, really helpful too. And a lot of people ignore what this card can actually do for it. And pretty much that's the deck for the entire Quackimeros. Show you guys again, just in case you guys have any questions. This is pretty much it. The deck does okay. It's not exactly amazing, but it's had a lot of speed thanks to the format changing, and it's able to help search, which the deck didn't have before. And that's why there's certain copies of 3 cards of everything almost, because you do need to get those pieces back into your hand or even onto the field. And this is pretty much a speed version of the Quackimero deck. Other people do have other builds. Some are like highly controlled. Others are very different. But in my opinion, this is actually one of the very few decks that's actually fun to play, but is completely ignored over the fact that everybody prefers all those other meta-based decks. So if you guys have any questions, comments, rate, please, and subscribe. And if you guys want to add anything else to the deck, please be free. I take a lot of different deck choices and ideas. And this is PN Collector here, and I hope you liked the deck of the month for Quackimeros.